There's a weight to keeping secrets in the modern world. Every day, millions of people carry information they've decided never to share. It might be a financial decision, a personal struggle, a business opportunity, or something deeply intimate. Whatever it is, they've made a choice. Tell no one. If you find yourself drawn to stories about privacy, discretion, and the power of silence, consider subscribing to the channel. We explore the psychology and consequences of what we choose to keep hidden. The decision to tell no one about something significant is rarely made lightly. It begins with a choice, usually in a moment of clarity or crisis. You realize that revealing this information could change everything. It could alter how people perceive you, jeopardize your position, complicate your relationships, or expose you to judgment you're not prepared to face. So you decide to carry it alone. That decision creates a psychological boundary that affects everything you do afterward. In the workplace, this silence often surrounds money. An employee discovers they're being underpaid compared to their peers, but they never mention it. A manager learns about layoffs weeks before they're announced, bound by confidentiality. A team member knows a client is about to leave, but contractual obligations keep their lips sealed. The office becomes a place of knowing without speaking. People walk the halls maintaining normal facades while harboring information that could reshape the organization. The frosted glass partitions and closed doors become more than just architecture. They become symbols of compartmentalized knowledge. At home, the silence takes different forms. You might be scrolling through your phone in the evening, seeing messages you don't intend to answer, knowing things about people that you've promised never to repeat. A parent discovers something about their child that requires careful handling. A partner suspects something but decides not to ask. The couch becomes a place of stillness, where you sit with your thoughts, your phone face down, your notifications silenced. The digital world connects us constantly, yet choosing not to speak creates an island of separation. The locked journal represents something primal in this behavior. Keeping a diary with a brass padlock, writing things down that no one will ever read, serves a psychological purpose. It allows you to externalize thoughts without risking exposure. You can be completely honest on those pages because you control who sees them. The act of writing creates a release valve, a place where the truth doesn't threaten anyone. Yet the lock itself is a reminder that some knowledge is too sensitive for shared space. What drives a person to maintain such strict silence? Psychology offers several explanations. Protection is perhaps the most common motivation. When you tell someone a secret, you lose control of it. They might share it with someone else, they might use it against you, they might judge you based on incomplete information. By keeping silent, you maintain control. You protect not just yourself, but potentially the people involved in whatever you're withholding. Trust becomes complicated in this landscape. You might desperately want to tell someone. The burden feels overwhelming, but you've learned, through experience or observation, that trust is fragile. Once words leave your mouth, you can't retrieve them, so you stay silent. This restraint, paradoxically, becomes a form of strength. You become someone who can be trusted with information. Your silence becomes your reputation. Business contexts intensify this dynamic. Non-disclosure agreements exist for a reason. They recognize that information is valuable, dangerous, or both. A person in professional attire, their hand covering their mouth, represents the constant suppression required in high-stakes environments. Every meeting, every conversation, every interaction requires mental filtering. You're speaking, but you're also editing. You're present, but you're also absent, holding back crucial context. Social media has created new dimensions to this silence. You're surrounded by people broadcasting their lives, sharing their thoughts, seeking validation through communication. Yet you choose the opposite. Your notifications are muted. Your privacy settings are maximum. You're visible, but saying nothing. This creates a strange form of modern isolation. Everyone can see you exist, but no one knows what you actually know or feel. The decision to tell no one affects your mental health in measurable ways. Psychological research shows that keeping secrets creates stress. The cognitive load of remembering what you can and cannot say, to whom you can and cannot reveal information, takes energy. You become hyper-aware of your words. You calculate every sentence before speaking. This constant self-monitoring is exhausting. Yet there's also a form of power in silence. When you don't speak, you can't be contradicted. You can't be misquoted. You can't be attacked for what you've revealed. Silence is a fortress. People in business, in politics, in any position where information is currency, understand this instinctively. The less you say, the less ammunition you provide to potential adversaries. Like someone deliberately erasing words from a notebook, you remove the evidence of your knowledge. The consequences of this silence ripple outward. People close to you sense that something is being withheld. There's a distance, a restraint, that changes the dynamic of relationships. You can't be fully known if you're not fully honest. Some of your closest connections might remain incomplete, fractured by the information you've chosen to keep. This creates a paradox. The very choice made to protect a relationship might damage it. Security becomes a preoccupation. You monitor who knows what. You're aware of camera feeds, of records, of digital trails. Information that you've kept private might exist somewhere you can't control. Email servers, backup systems, recorded calls, all potential vulnerabilities. The world of surveillance, both corporate and governmental, means that privacy requires constant vigilance. You can't simply decide to keep something secret. You have to actively manage that secrecy. The silence is often strategic. An investor who knows something about a company before it's public must stay silent or break laws. A person who sees an opportunity must wait for the right moment to act, meanwhile telling no one about their plans. This silence serves a purpose. It allows you to move without being copied, to gain advantage through information asymmetry. But it also requires discipline. You must live with the knowledge without acting on it prematurely. Personal struggles intensify this burden. Depression, anxiety, addiction, health issues. These things that might benefit from talking are often kept silent. You're in loungewear on the couch, dealing with something significant, but you've decided that sharing it would create more problems than it would solve. The person asking how you are hears, "Fine," while you're carrying something heavy. This silence becomes a form of self-protection that also serves to protect others from your pain. The choice to tell no one is sometimes made to protect other people. A parent discovers something about their child and tells no one because speaking would cause harm. A friend learns something that would damage another friendship and chooses silence to preserve the peace. In these cases, discretion feels morally right, even if it creates personal burden. You become a keeper of uncomfortable truths. Professional confidentiality reinforces this culture of silence. Lawyers, doctors, therapists, clergy, entire professions are built on the principle that some information cannot be disclosed. This creates pockets of knowledge that shape people's lives without being shared. A therapist understands someone's deepest fears, but tells no one. A lawyer knows details of a case that the public never learns. This selective revelation of information is considered ethical, even necessary. The modern workplace has accelerated this tendency. Remote work, digital communication, and constant monitoring mean that your professional silence has changed. You're more isolated, yet more visible. You share less in person, yet leave digital footprints of everything you do online. The paradox creates tension. You maintain silence about what matters, while your digital behavior is increasingly transparent. Technology plays a complex role in enabling this silence. Encrypted messaging apps, VPNs, and privacy-focused platforms exist precisely because people want to communicate without others knowing. Yet these same tools can be used to hide harmful behavior, to facilitate crime, or to enable deception. The tools that protect privacy can also protect dishonesty. Telling no one sometimes means using technology to ensure that no one can know. The physical spaces we inhabit reinforce this secrecy. Modern office design with closed doors, home design with separate rooms, public spaces with private booths, all allow people to exist in the same environment, while remaining isolated in their knowledge. You can sit at your desk and be completely alone with information that affects dozens of people. You can be in a room full of colleagues and be the only one who knows something crucial. Cultural differences affect how this silence is perceived. Some cultures value discretion and privacy highly, considering it a sign of respect and maturity. Yet, the modern global environment tends to push towards silence. In professional contexts especially, the safest choice is to reveal as little as possible. This creates a convergence toward keeping secrets, regardless of cultural background. The aging of silence creates its own dynamic. A secret kept for 1 month feels different from a secret kept for 1 year, and completely different from a secret kept for decades. The longer you maintain silence, the deeper it becomes embedded in your identity. You've told so many people I don't know that you're not sure you remember the truth yourself. The lie becomes more comfortable than revelation would be. Revealing a secret after long silence creates its own crisis. The person who learns the truth wonders what else you've withheld. Your credibility is damaged. They question every previous interaction through the lens of this deception. A friendship, a marriage, a professional relationship can be destroyed by the revelation of something you've kept silent about. This fear keeps people silent even when they want desperately to speak. Yet there are moments when silence becomes impossible to maintain. A health crisis forces disclosure. A legal matter requires revelation. A relationship reaches a point where silence becomes more damaging than honesty. These moments feel like explosions. Everything changes at once. The careful walls you've built come down, and suddenly everyone knows what you've hidden. The question isn't whether keeping secrets is right or wrong. The question is what it costs you. Every secret kept is a relationship simplified, a connection made shallower. Every piece of information withheld is a loss of intimacy. Silence is sometimes necessary, sometimes protective, but it always carries a price. Moving forward with secrets requires developing a relationship with them. You can't suppress them completely without psychological cost. Some people keep journals, visit therapists, or confide in one person they absolutely trust, bending the rule of telling no one in a controlled way. Others develop spiritual or meditative practices that help them live with what they know. The goal becomes integration, living with the secret without letting it completely define you. The modern world pressures us towards silence in unprecedented ways. Corporate confidentiality agreements, data privacy regulations, social media curating what we present, all encourage selective revelation. You can live a life where very few people know the real you, and this might feel safer, but it also means living increasingly isolated, known by everyone but understood by no one. What would change if we told? That question haunts people who keep secrets. Would relationships improve? Would you lose your job? Would you face judgment? Would things actually get better? Sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes telling would genuinely improve the situation. But you've made the calculation that the risk is too high, the potential downside too severe. So you keep silent. Telling no one becomes a way of life, a habitual response to difficulty. It becomes so ingrained that you might stop questioning whether silence is still necessary. You've protected yourself so well that you've also isolated yourself completely. The security you've built has become a prison you didn't intend to construct. Yet in this world of kept secrets, there's also a strange kind of power and integrity. You keep your word about silence just as much as you keep your word about other things. In a world of information leaks and betrayals, someone who truly tells no one becomes extraordinarily valuable. Your reliability is absolute. That's worth something. The weight of carrying information alone never truly becomes light, but it becomes familiar. You learn to live with it. You develop routines and coping mechanisms. You find ways to exist with the knowledge without being destroyed by it. This is the price of the choice to tell no one. And sometimes, you decide it's worth paying. If you've ever faced the decision of what to keep secret and what to share, like this video, your support means everything and helps us continue exploring these complex human topics. And if you're struggling with something you've decided to keep silent about, share your thoughts in the comments. Not the secret itself, but your thoughts on why we keep them, or how you've learned to live with them. Join our community of people thinking deeply about the psychology of silence. Subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the hidden parts of human behavior.